counting to 10, you will need a set of numbers, 1 to 10. I have magnet numbers. You can just print out numbers off your computer or write them with crayon and cut them out, but you want them to be individualized. Something to count with. If you're going to 10, you want 55 of this object. I have here some colorful stones. You can use rocks from outside, Legos, or some other toy that your child has. It doesn't have to be a match set. Noodles is another idea. Whatever you can find around the house. And you may want a number strip. This helps the child put their numbers in order. So if they can't remember what comes after 2, then they can look at their number strip, put their finger on 2, the next number is 3. And this is very helpful so that the child can do this work independently. There are a couple different ways that you can do this. Some classrooms have you line up all the numbers first. So you want to take out all the numbers so that the child can see it. And then you want them to line it up at the top of wherever they're working. Now, another thing you want to help your child with is you don't want them to bunch their numbers up, because if they're all bunched up, then their objects are going to get all bunched up, and then they're going to lose track of what they were counting. Also, if they did this whole work by themselves and then want to show you afterwards, you're going to have trouble figuring out if they counted it correctly. So you can just show them to put like a 2-finger space between each number. There's a couple of different ways that you can have your child count this. 1 stone. 2, 1, 2 stone. But if the object is small enough, it's also helpful if they count it into their hand. So for example, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then they can put it down. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The benefit of this is then they get to feel the difference of how much 1 is in comparison to how much 10 is. Do this until they get to 10. Again, if your child is doing this independently, make sure you check their work when they're done so you know that they understand how to count to 10. Another way to do this is to count with each individual number. So for example, 1 stone, 2, 1, 2 stones, and so on. Once your child is confident with counting, you can step it up by making them count in partners. For example, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When the child has completed this all the way to 10, go back to 1 and say, 1 doesn't have a friend, or 1 doesn't have a partner. That's odd. 1 is an odd number, but 2 has a friend. 2 is even, and so on, and therefore the child has now learned odd and even numbers. As an extension to the odd and even work, your child can make an odd and even book. If they don't know how to write the numbers, they can stamp them, or they can trace numbers that you have written. Have them write the number at the top of the page, and then have them either stamp the appropriate number, or they can color in pictures, or they can use stickers. When your child has mastered counting 1 to 10, another fun game to play is the memory game. The only thing the child is going to have at their table or on the floor or wherever they're working is their numbers. I have my magnet numbers in a bag so that I can't see it. If you have cutout numbers, you could just have them all face down. The child is going to pick a number. I have the number 1. And then they're going to put it down, and then they have to walk to another area of the room where the objects that they're counting are. So they have to remember what number they picked and then count that in their hand, or you can have a little basket that they can count it into, bring it back to their table or floor or wherever they're working and see if they counted the number correctly. At the end, your child's numbers shouldn't be in order, but in the order that they picked it from the bag. If the child is doing this work independently, make sure you tell them to not put it away until they've shown you the work so that you know that they've done it correctly. For younger children, it might be a little difficult to line everything in a neat row. For example, my son is 2.5. He loves to count, but he's not really focused on putting it in a neat row, but he's very focused when he counts. As long as they're focused and counting correctly, leave them be. Don't interrupt. They're still learning.
3 paper dolls. 1, 2, 3.
Remember, when you're outside in the world, there's always opportunity for counting. One of the things that me and my son love to do when we're sitting at a park bench and there's rocks around, we just pick up the stones and lay them on the bench and count them. Before he was even talking, I was doing it. And I knew he was focused and watching because he was watching my hands do the movements. And then again, before he was even speaking, then he started to place the rocks very carefully up on the bench as I counted. And now he just does it by himself. He also likes to hop from rock to rock, and we count when he does that. We grow tomato plants, and he likes to count how many green tomatoes there are and how many red tomatoes there are. There's always an opportunity to count and to make it fun. And the more you incorporate counting from the outside world, the more your child is going to realize how important it is and want to learn it. A fun game that we created here is we have a whole bunch of those colorful ball pit balls, and we make a rainbow of it. And we ask Oliver to find 6 red balls, and he brings us 6 red balls, and he brings us 6 orange balls, and so on. And I didn't even realize it, but we also added math into it because sometimes he only brings us 2 yellow balls. And so we'll count them and we'll say, okay, so we need 4 more yellow balls. And so he brings that over. And then once we've made a colorful rainbow, we kick the balls all over the house.
We're gonna use 6 pink balls. Can you, Daddy?
Pink balls.
6 pink balls.
6 pink balls.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Mommy, she's given 6 pink balls.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Can you help Daddy find 4 more?
I'll forget 4 more pink balls. I'll forget 4 more pink balls.
Oh, good job. You brought me 4 all at once. Thank you. Oh, good job. We have a great big rainbow. What color is this?
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pink.
That's right, that makes a rainbow, right? Now what are we gonna do?
Now kick the rainbow.
We can kick the balls.